Universe 25 was part of a large-scale social psych experiment running in the late 70s. And compared to this study, the Stanford prison experiment showed an amazing lack of ambition. Amazing lack. So one of the main discoveries was how a bunch of distinct subgroups emerged during the experiment. One subgroup, however, particularly stood out, and it was so much so that even in the 70s it made it into the mainstream. People were talking about it, which is a surprise. These guys, they're all males in this subgroup, they rejected face-to-face social participation, avoided physical confrontation, did not, quote, court females, showed zero interest in what the researcher called territorial behaviour, and spent most of their time eating, sleeping and grooming obsessively. In the years since the study, these fellas became symbols of many elements of societal withdrawal, social dysfunction, etc. for people. And for some, in hindsight, they seem to be an example of how the modern-day social media's impact on the world has led to certain male subgroups becoming deeply alienated, self-obsessed, etc. The researcher labelled these participants the beautiful ones because they were visually pristine, this is his words, compared with the battered, socially engaged participants around them. They were physically unscarred by fighting and unusually clean and well-maintained, which, if you're paying attention, sounds a little bit like a hardcore incel or a looks maxer today. But there was a significant difference. The beautiful ones were all mice.
I don't think you should do that. It's time for a little bit of science. I'm Will Grant, an Associate Professor in Science Communication at the Australian National University.
I'm R.G. Lamberts, a 30-year SciComm veteran with the mind of a teenage boy, and I play the mouth tuber.
RG. And today, as well as some beautiful incel mice, we also have some unexpected citizen science.
We do. We have something new to worry about when you're constipated.
We have some latest advances in medicine that I truly want to support.
And something I'd like to call totally cactus.
I've also got a tiny bit of cunning linguistics for you.
I see what you did.
What did I do?
I like the joke.
What?
It's subtle, though. No one would know. No one who didn't know would know. That's music's beautiful. Hang on, don't turn it off. Now I can't think. So it's the late 1960s.
Beautiful mice.
Beautiful.
So these mice, this is Universe 25. It's a big name for a mouse study to call it Universe 25.
Big fucking study. Like, this is impressive.
I just thought Universe 25, like, you've kind of got to go, like, I'm simulating a universe here.
Yeah.
Like, mice is not quite enough to simulate a universe. Like, you could go, you know, Habitat 25 or
environs.
Yeah. What a mouse live in?
Groups.
A mouse hole? What do they call
it? An embouchure of mice? I don't know.
Yeah.
So late 60s, the potential for population growth, explosive population growth was freaking people out.
Oh, this is like the
book.
Yeah, the book.
Paul Ehrlich's 1968. The Population Bomb. Huge hit.
Yeah, nice.
He was like on the Johnny Carson show. It was all
humans
over
are going to be
everywhere.
exploding like bombs. Like
exactly.
It's going to be like just everywhere. There'll be humans oozing out of everything. But also, you know, there's a whole bunch of movies and things at the time. Like Soylent Green is set in a world where there's, I don't know how many, they said 20 billion people or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like 1989 or a while ago.
I think, yeah, I mean, it was made in the 60s, but set 20 , 30, whatever years in the future. And they said that there's going to be so many people will have to eat each other, which is
They didn't
odd.
say that. They saved it till the end.
Yeah, that's true. So, spoiler.
I know the entire important part of the script. Soylent Green is people! That's it.
Charlton Heston.
Yeah, that and you maniacs. His two famous lines. But anyway, so people were freaking out about this. A lot of widespread angst, as you can imagine, because the population's going to go crazy. The planet can't sustain it. Ignorant as if it couldn't. So against this backdrop, things were going on at the Laboratory of Brain Evolution and Behaviour at the National Institute of Mental Health. And the director, an ecologist turned psychologist, John Bumpass Calhoun, literally his middle name is Bumpass.
Why do you pick on people's names?
Bumpass, 'cause it's funny. That's a funny name.
Look,
it is.
Technically, yes, but he can't help it.
I'm not blaming him for it. I'm applauding him for giving me the opportunity to say Bumpass a lot, and I'm gonna.
It's parents that you're applauding.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Calhoun, for calling your son Bumpass. So anyway, he was running a series of, as he puts it, increasingly elaborate rodent population experiments designed to explore how crowding and social organisation affect behaviour.
Okay, so when do the mice eat each other, basically?
For example. example. So Universe 25 is the most famous one. There were other universes, but there's way too much for me to talk about. Okay. It's just huge. There's so much to this. It was like, how do I tell something?
Well, when you've got one method, you just run with it. You just go, this is my method.
Fucking oath.
I put mice in different situations.
Again and again.
Yeah. What if?
Again. So it was an experiment that aimed to remove virtually all external causes of suffering.
So this was Universe 25, not the other. So all external causes of suffering. So they've got, what are we saying? There's food, and they're
water, temperature, no predators,
no
nothing. Like it's freaking fantastic environment.
Are they deliberately making them happy or just removing the sad?
Oh, they're adding to everything they need. Like your Maslow's hierarchies have all been put in there.
There's playgrounds and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's stuff to do. Ish. I mean, as much as mice do stuff. It was very large, basically intricate apartment block for mice, as it was described. And there's some great pictures of it. Like if you click on the show notes, you'll see links, obvious ones, but you can see there, there's a lot going on.
I don't even know what I'm looking at here.
You're looking at
they've got like mesh, you can climb up the walls.
Yeah, you can climb up the walls.
Yeah, okay.
But you can't get out.
But there's a fair few mice in here. We're talking like,
Well, here's the specs are, there's 16 identical apartment buildings, so 4 on each side.
Little apartment buildings.
Little apartments, 4 on each side in a big square.
I don't know if mice normally live in apartment buildings.
No, but they would given the opportunity, obviously.
Of course they would. They're an urban creature.
A shitty hole full of toilet paper, or...
Yeah, I could get a better view if I go higher and I can live in a city.
Yeah, and you can see at the top of the buildings, there's all these water bottles.
Oh, you get the water at the top.
There's water, there's food,
so
there's
they've got water at nice pressure, thanks to having their water up top.
You've got your good plumbing.
They've got good showers. Nice.
Good showers, good plumbing, everything. Each of the buildings had four-unit walk-up, one-room apartments.
One room.
Oh no!
Walk up as opposed to you got to park your car,
fall down,
your little mouse car out the front or something.
Fly across. I don't know. So there's a total of 256 units. It's not small. There's a lot. There's a lot of occupants. So each of them could apparently accommodate about 15 mice. So quite a few. So they had abundant food, fresh water.
Can I confirm?
Yeah.
Did the mice choose to live in individual apartments? Are they like, yes, this is my apartment?
I don't know.
It's my apartment,
I assume they did what mice would normally do. Some would cluster, some wouldn't.
I would guess that. Like, are they really going, no, this is what we do now. We have moved to the big city.
Yeah, I'm living in my own studio
Now we
apartment.
have the problems of anomie.
Yeah. Not far off. Yeah, so abundant food, fresh water, nesting materials, protection from predators. They were, screened from diseases, so they weren't getting unnatural or natural pathogens, and also no harsh weather. So there's no rain, nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Also, it was temperature controlled and designed potentially to support possibly thousands of mice comfortably.
And so, of course, the giant spoiler here is they turn out miserable because, they don't have suffering.
No, it went really well. It went really well. The beautiful ones, man. Come on, don't forget the beautiful ones. So Calhoun and his team would sit over the top of it and watch for hours a day, every day for more than 3 years.
Didn't have emails to answer.
No, 1968.
Get the undergrads to sit over
to chisel it into papyrus,
all right, kids,
strap it to an eagle and
undergrads,
send it.
For your assignment, you watch my mice.
Yeah, exactly, and make notes, lots of notes. So basically you got Mousetopia. Brilliant. So they started with a small number of breeding pairs. They divided the whole experiment into phases to track population growth, social organisation, and the population initially expanded very rapidly because they're mice.
Fill the void, and food is on tap. So
food is on tap, water's on tap.
And there's no predators. Of course, it's going to expand.
No predators, no hunting. They're not getting sick. They're not getting cold. They're just.
So they're like, let's make some babies.
Let's make the loves.
Yeah, we're in heaven. So
and that's what they say in heaven. You should definitely breed.
So you can't be pregnant in heaven, can you? No.
Well, I don't think I can.
I mean,
that's not my idea of heaven. I don't want to be pregnant.
I just feel like some people love it.
I know. I don't think I would.
Can you have sex in heaven?
I can. I don't know if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I've never had it down here because I've never been married. Therefore, I'm saving myself.
Okay, you're saving yourself for heaven.
For behind the pearly gates.
Yeah, okay.
So initially, as I said, the population expanded and social hierarchies formed, territories emerged, breeding proceeded.
King mouse, queen mouse.
Exactly. Yeah. Then your viceroys.
Yeah, your viceroys.
Yeah, you got your viceroys and your lesser nobles. But very quickly, as more mice appeared, things started to go south. And it wasn't because of a lack of resources. They made sure all the physical conditions remained perfecto. So it was fairly crowded, but not crazily crowded, so ticked along. And as the population density increased, social order began to fragment. Many male mice became unable to compete with the increasingly chaotic hierarchy. So for some reason, the hierarchies weren't clear. Maybe they weren't used to living so close together.
Too many. They couldn't count.
Yeah, they're just
where am I in this hierarchy?
Are you the king or the...
and they had no markers of...
They had no robes, no tattoos. Some of the boys were always being attacked. They were cut out of territories. They were excluded from mating opportunities. So you got your bully gangs. You got your alphas and your others. Some became hyper-aggressive and would basically engage in what looked like random acts of violence, so just cruise around and fuck shit up. Females struggled to rear their young successfully, and maternal behaviour apparently started to deteriorate under the stress and social instabilities.
Really?
So it turns out, even with conditions of material abundance, Utopia wasn't great. The colony spirals into dysfunction.
When will we learn?
We won't. Look, honestly, with the resources and time and free money, I'd do it again because I'd be so curious. Because modern mice, much more savvy. You might think these beautiful ones could be considered an adaptive response to this, because basically they withdrew from these increasingly risky situations.
So what, the beautiful ones pulled out of this society?
Yeah. They stayed back. They kept to themselves. They groomed obsessively. They didn't interact. So
where did they live in separate areas?
I assume they had their own little apartments and they stayed out of the way.
They stayed in the apartment.
Yeah, and they remained pristine, well-fed, and didn't participate in face-to-face social stuff. But Calhoun did not see this as being an adaptive response. He said, look, they've abandoned the core social behaviours necessary to the continuation of mouse society. It's like, no, this isn't a good response.
You've abandoned mouse world.
You've deserted the mices because they didn't reproduce, they didn't contribute to the
You're a species traitor.
Exactly, a race traitor.
Well, species. I didn't want to go race traitor. Like that
sounds stronger. Their lives became narrowly focused on, as he puts it, passive self-maintenance and personal comfort. So he thought they were kind of a representation of terminal disengagement from collective existence, which it sounds like that's true.
I'm just wondering if that's just a normal response when they're like, okay, I can't go out into the dangerous area where I'm going to get beaten up. So my response is to stay home, and what else am I going to do?
Do what you can control.
Yeah, I groom and eat.
I can see how to keep myself bug-free and potentially, yeah. And as things went on in the society, reproductive rates collapsed, infant mortality skyrocketed, apparently social learning broke down, younger mice failed to get normal mating and parenting behaviours passed on.
So they couldn't work with this?
They couldn't work with it. And even when the population pressure eased, because the numbers started to drop off, the colony never recovered. So basically, as there's one quote that says...
So they'd learned some sort of behaviour or something?
Yeah, they hadn't.
They'd baked in a culture somehow?
Something was missing, yeah.
Wow.
They weren't getting what they needed to maintain a normal functioning world. So Calhoun said he called this a demonstration of a behavioural sink. This was his term. Where overcrowding and social breakdown triggered.
Sink meaning like
yeah.
Well, yeah, as in drawing down. A carbon sink or a gravity sink, pulling down towards there. And so behaviour. Yeah. So collapsing society.
Sucked into like a weird singularity of That's what he called it. And he said basically overcrowding and social breakdown triggered this cascading dysfunction, despite the fact physical needs perfectly met. So the beautiful ones were evidence that a society could become incapable of reproducing its own structures and social structures, cultural behaviours. That was what he was saying. So they became the experiment's most enduring image. Everyone's talking about the beautiful ones because they embodied the fears that extended at the time
when
and beyond.
When people come too obsessed with self-image, society doesn't work. Is that what they were saying?
Yeah, well, they weren't quite getting... At first they were worried about the population bomb, then they got this controlled environment, and then suddenly they see that when they made things perfect, these freaks came out, which were not cool either. So basically they were a representation of, it's just all bad. Everything's gone wrong. So the scariest thing was their withdrawal was super unsettling because it happened under these conditions of abundance and safety, not deprivation. Yeah. They withdrew in what, at least originally, was a very safe, clean, well-stocked environment.
Yeah.
They didn't initially withdraw because they were getting beaten up and stuff. They just started to pull back early, which is weird. I mean, that's a weird thing to see.
Could you have designed a version of this that has well-stocked, everything, all the abundance? Is there a mouse UBI where the mice have universal basic income, but there's some other inclusion as well? Like we give them some sort of meaning, like there's a poetry competition or something like that.
Exactly.
That will give them meaning and give them a social hierarchy. And then things will function. Like maybe that's what's missing.
I think you need some resistance to get your muscles to build.
You need resistance.
Social or otherwise. You need a little bit of friction and tension.
You got to lift.
Exactly. Do you even lift?
That was what I was implying.
Do you even lift?
That's what I was implying.
Bro. To me, that's an implication. Like with everything being perfect. It reminded me of a version of one, I can't remember which one of the Matrix movies where they went, we made the original ones perfect, but everyone went insane and ate each other because the original Matrices.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
They were too perfect. They needed the tensions, apparently. So obviously that came from this. So over the time, since then, experiments were used to support all kinds of social arguments.
No doubt.
Can you imagine?
Well, I mean, that's what I was going to say. This does sound like conservative fodder. It's like, no, we can't give the workers everything. Like, they will be worse off if we give them everything.
That is definitely one of them.
That is what we must...
Look what happens when it's perfect.
We must remain fat cats that can eat the worker mice.
Yes.
Otherwise, they will not like themselves. They would prefer...
Too perfect, they become bad.
Yeah.
We're doing this for them. But they weren't the only ones. They weren't. Anti-urbanists said, "Oh no, it's a warning about cities, and cities aren't good for people."
Of course they did. Yeah, they said if the mice had little cottages in sort of some fields, then it would be
with an
nice.
inconveniently timed train trip between villages once a month. So there's tension again. You've got to plan your
like
trips.
A horse and cart.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The rest of the time, a mouse.
No, but it'd be like a rat. Like they have a rat. Like
guinea pigs. But yeah, so people, anti-consumerists, decided it was linked to alienation and passivity of being a consumer.
Sure. Yeah.
And more recently, of course, online commentators connect the beautiful ones to modern digital culture, social withdrawing and narcissism.
Yeah, because all of those mice were definitely on social media.
They certainly very quickly became in recent times.
Yeah, they were all on the TikToks.
They're definitely, they're influencers. They're all influencers. If you'd given them little phones, they would have taken pictures of their grooming and their abundant eating. So, of course, though, there were criticisms of the experiment. You find this amazing to hear. Some people said it wasn't perfect.
I don't think perfect is the goal of an experiment.
This is why you'll never be a laboratorist.
Well, no, I think...
You'll never be a laboratorist with that attitude.
One experiment to solve them all.
And it must be perfect. Otherwise, burn it down. But, I mean, all the arguments. So they said, look, they overinterpreted the mouse behaviour in an artificial enclosure would not meaningfully predict mouse behaviour, better yet human civilization. Imagine that. And humans, if you're trying to extrapolate, which they did a lot, humans, we got things like, your cultures, your technologies, your adaptive institutions.
Look, I think
we differ.
I think, given that we remain at the moment the dominant species,
we do.
I think it's fair to say, what would it be if we designed something perfect for ourselves? And that might involve a whole lot of discussion or something like that. But having a dominant species going, let's make a controlled little environment that is perfect for them in some small objective criteria. It's a long way to jump to say, okay, that's what it means for humans.
Yes, it is. I agree with you. It is very much a long way to jump. Look, there are a bunch of other critics. They said, look, they weren't acting naturally in this environment. They weren't given the opportunity to fully interact. Again, the stresses, et cetera, et cetera. And so some would argue it reflected the effects of captivity, etc., on these creatures. Also, serious scientists did not like the anthropomorphisms that Calhoun used.
Well, okay, yeah, but
didn't like that.
That's not the experiment. That's the implication.
The reporting on. Because it wasn't only the beautiful ones. There was also universal autism. I know. Pied Pipers, somnambulists.
Sleepers.
Yep, but moving sleepers, like zombies. And super aggro mice he'd call berserks. I think that all sounds reasonable. But people didn't like that.
Okay.
So his last probably serious publication about it was in 1973. Death Squared, the explosive growth and demise of a mouse population. After that, apparently he rarely published anywhere, better yet, formally.
Oh, he retired. Fine.
Yeah. No, because it got to the point where, for example, Universe 33 and 34 weren't published at all.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know.
What did he do?
I don't know, but when we're
considering... So in this universe, every mouse has a gun.
Fuck, who knows? Probably teleporter. We're talking 33 and 34. We've been talking about 25. I don't know what would 1 to 24 look like. Better yet, up to 34. Also, apparently in the 70s and 80s, animal behaviourists and psychologists said, oh yeah, we know about his work, but, and this is my favourite quote, there's no evidence for behavioural sinks, beautiful ones, or any other observations that Calhoun detailed in his rat and mouse universes. Hasn't been found in wild populations of animals at all. Rat, mouse, any.
Yeah, sure. No, so he made an experimental condition that is different from the rest of the world that may still tell us something.
It may. No.
Just because...
No. No, because we didn't find it in the wild. It must all be shit, apparently. So basically, once again, it turns out lab studies of animals don't reveal everything about humans.
Or about the animals.
Or about the animals, exactly. But I do love the truthiness of the whole beautiful ones in social media.
Yeah,
it's like, ooh, that's kind of delicious.
Look, yet again, I mean, we've talked about other versions of this. Animals do animal stuff.
Yeah.
And if you put animals in weird stuff, they do slightly different things.
Yeah, but still animal stuff.
It doesn't mean they're humans. And it doesn't mean that, we do the same.
Talk me through that again.
All right, this one, I have to give a shout out to the author straight away because much of it is coming directly from a great post that I found on 404 Media. And this is what I'm declaring a rather unexpected bit of citizen science. So, Jason Kobler from 404 Media writes.
Friend of the show.
A few weeks ago, I came across a wild post on Reddit's, or thread on Reddit, a subreddit for trading large data sets. I have hoarded a large database of something valuable, just not what you expect.
What do I expect?
I don't know. A large database of something. What would you guess? A large database. It's 150 images.
Toenail fungus?
No. I don't know if there are that many of that.
Particular kinds of dags on New Zealand sheep?
I think you might be getting close.
Oh, the worms that come out, the parasitical worms that come out of the date during sleep. Some of those are quite eccentric. You need
So
photos.
this was a database of human poo images.
Wait, first question, only 150?
150,000.
Oh, 1,000.
150,000.
I missed all them zeros.
150,000.
In that case, I've just got to
So-
take a moment and...
So this database had been collected from 25,000 people
With their consent?
with their consent. Well, okay, I'll come to consent
What
in a
does the
bit.
form look like?
I'll come to consent in a bit because that is
Okay.
an interesting topic.
Excellent.
But 25,000 people had been taking images of their, to put the scientific term, stool or their poo or
Scat.
their poop.
Copra.
I don't know if anyone uses the
I think it's copra once it's become like...
ossified.
Yeah, ossified and usually Viking.
It is.
It's always...
But there was that story about
Yeah, the
a
giant Viking pool. Yeah. How do you know they were warriors? Look at the size of this thing. It's colossal.
Well, they had uploaded to his app, and he'd been collecting, analysing, and annotating these images.
Annotating.
Yes, indeed.
Too much corn, not enough fibre.
And now he was selling access to them. So he's
Ooh!
well. Okay, I've got 150k labelled and classified images of poop from roughly 25k people. Jokes aside, I know there's a lot of value in it. It's hard to obtain, useful for machine learning, cancer studies, etc.
Okay.
But not sure how to move on it. Feels like I'm sitting on a pile of shiny coins, but can't find who needs them. The images are extremely rare. So,
Did he offer a few with a teaser like that? You got to say, look, here's a selection of the best ones.
well, indeed. So I didn't look at the pictures, and in fact,
Of course you did.
In 404,
You had one of your kids look for you.
in 404 media, you can see there is the pictures that were sent to the journalist.
They look
Jason
fuzzed
here,
out to me.
They are fuzzed out, and you know what?
Safe search off.
On this particular issue, I have no desire.
I would 100% turn safe search off. I think it's fascinating. For me, the Bristol stool inventory lacks ambition. There's only 7 categories.
Well, here we go. The goal here. So Jason Coppola, the journalist, dived into this world and said, I'm going to explore this. And originally, the poop database here came from an app called Poop Check, but it's made by a company called...
Should be called Stool
Software
Sample.
Things. Well, it's just a name. There could be...
There's a lot in a name.
Yeah, it could be. Stool Sample is a good name.
That is a good name.
But the goal was there to use AI to analyse images of your poo.
This is the first example of AI killing itself. You want me to do what? I don't want to exist anymore. Proof their sentience.
One of my favourite memes lately is, it's like Oliver Twist, and he's got his bowl, and it's, please sir, can I have some less?
It's the same thing. Dear Chat GPT, Claudetropic, analyse these shit samples. I'm dead.
You have killed me.
Puff of small electronic smoke, and that's the end of all AIs.
So there you go. Our AI analyzes your poop using the Bristol Stool Scale and advanced pattern recognition. Get insights on consistency, colour, shape, and what they mean for your digestive health. And just
Who
to...
needs a 5-year-old to do that?
Just to remember here, the Bristol Stool Chart is a legitimate piece of science, and stool poo is an indicator of a variety of your gut health. Absolutely.
Just ask Dr. Kellogg.
And also, I don't know how many other countries do this, but I have saluted the Australian government for asking us to send some poo to them in the mail.
Not only saluted, I do it gleefully.
Yeah, indeed.
Gleefully.
Indeed. The app has a community of this 150,000 shared stools and a leaderboard where people can share images of their poop for commentary from other users and earn points for participating.
Leaderboard! Mine's the most number 7 on the Bristol inventory. You've never seen anything more liquid than this.
So Jason Kerbler, the journalist, is like, I found posts in the community...
Poo Pride.
With titles like, it indeed is Poo Pride, with titles like Play-Doh, Concerned, and Dealing with This on and off for the past 3 weeks.
Oh, Christ. Like a fountain but smellier. This is not great.
Popular posts include people speculating as to whether their fellow community members have parasites or colon cancer. Could you imagine everyone's jumping into this community and going,
Colon cancer. I think you need a full, buttectomy. Boweliotomy.
Comments in a few posts, I saw people recommending ivermectin, horse tranquilizers. Of
course they did.
Famous during the pandemic.
Doesn't it? I thought it had parasitic effects too or something.
So, yeah. And so, look, here's the question. First question,
The question.
And this is the question that 404 asked, and I'll come to it in a second.
Is it why?
Is the consent an AI? But, well, no, I can understand why. I can absolutely...
No, not the existence of it. The person in question who went, here's what I'm going to do.
I want to build it.
I have a dream.
I
have a dream. I've always wanted to build an app, and it seems like everything's been done. Wait a minute, just found a niche. Or a crevice, if you will.
But then there's the other question, the social question.
Yeah.
I get there are absolutely times when you might want to talk to your doctor about the thing that lands in the toilet. I absolutely,
Yes.
many,
Yes.
but
In fact, sometimes I make an appointment just to talk about that.
I don't understand. I understand the instinct to citizen science where it's like, oh, there's a weird bird in my backyard.
Which could be a euphemism for what they're talking about here.
A weird bird in my backyard.
So that could be the name of the app too.
Look at my budgery. But the whole sharing it with the community.
You're not in? You're not down?
So anyway, they had this now 150,000.
You could use like a pseudonym like Gil Rant.
Gil Rant.
No one to know who you were.
Well, actually, this is what Jason Koebler, the journalist, did.
Yeah.
He messaged the person saying, I'm trying to sell it. And he said, "Oh, can you give me some samples?" And so he did. He sent him a bunch of samples. But then came out an estimation of pricing for the different amounts. So 10,000 unreviewed AI images, $3,000. 5,000 fully reviewed and annotated.
$100 million.
No, $4,000. So it's not much of a jump. Yes.
You're not changing your life.
They've all been annotated against a whole big criteria, consistency, colour, does it have mucus, is it floating?
Does it have mucus?
Well, indeed.
I think that's called a Santorum, isn't it?
And then a few other things like did you drink caffeine, what you might have eaten beforehand, all sorts of things like that.
No, these are all phrased wrongly. What the fuck were you eating beforehand should be the category.
The story ends for 404 because 404 is a media site that is very interested in AI and modern technology and data use rights. When the journalist said, "Oh, I'm actually doing this for a story," and it turns out that maybe all the people that shared these images never really gave consent for them to be harvested for AI.
Oopsie.
But it does point to something really interesting here that...
I know how to get around that. You say to them, okay, you tell me which one's yours. We'll pull it out.
Mine's the wee beige number.
Go through the 150,000 images, point out yours, and they're gone.
That one and that one and that one and that one and that one. That was Friday. Look... But it does point to something really interesting that we know that the ChatGPTs and all of the companies behind them are trying to get more data.
Yes.
Now, so much of it is text and video and stuff like that that's just mining the internet. And they're often hitting limits. That's an interesting question for them, whatever. I don't care to solve it. But it is also, what about unique and weird situations? Like if you want to diagnose moles in freckles and things like that, you need a large data set of that.
You do.
If you want to understand some weird machine operates or something like that, you need a large data set. If you want to,
dissect.
If you want
fecal matter.
A toilet that can predict if you're sick based on this,
I do.
You probably need a large data set.
You do.
So it says something really interesting about harvesting and collecting data in these times. So
too much data, barely enough.
So there you go. Just know, images of your poo could be worth money.
Not a lot. In this, continuing the fecal-oriented theme of this episode, I didn't know this, maybe you did, but when the very bloated Elvis Presley was found dead on his golden toilet back in 1977, he was 44.
44?
44.
44! No. I had in my mind that he was at least 45, but...
No, you just missed. You were so close. If you had that in the sweepstakes... One of the leading suspicions was that he'd been seriously constipated for years and strained so hard he had a heart attack.
That is the story I have heard. Or at least that he was straining and heart attack happened.
Yeah. And look, it's not 100% verified, though. One source I saw suggested, I stopped looking after this because it's worth saying, there was reported 4 months of stool sitting in his bowel in the autopsy.
Indeed.
4 months of stool. I'd get mad if there's a day. It's not right.
Well, look,
Poo should be out, not in.
Indeed, but
it may also be that he was addicted to painkillers and a bunch of other stuff. It may be, another speculation is, he passed out on the toilet, fell forward and smacked his head.
Okay.
It's another option.
That's slightly more glorious.
Slightly. Apparently still in the sitting on the toilet position. He was found, anyway.
Well, okay.
Wasn't great. Not a great way to go. Poor man, terrible thing. Anyway, regardless, it seems that this case, or his case, got scientists interested in sussing out the link between constipation and heart attacks, the obvious connection.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So before we get to a more recent study, I want to give you a couple of examples from the Annals of Constipation Research.
I'm ignoring.
You're welcome. So first up, 2020, Danish study of more than 900,000 people. I didn't know there were that many Danes, but apparently there are. From hospitals and hospital outpatient clinics, they found that people who were constipated had an increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. So there was a clear
It is not
correlation.
surprising. It's not surprising.
It's not surprising.
Like,
but it's still like, oh my God, constipation, I'm going to have a heart attack. That's not cool.
it is certainly another kick while you're down.
That's what you need. Yeah.
Like I
haven't shat in a month.
This isn't great, and now I'm going to have a heart
My
attack.
heart health is the problem.
Yeah, look, it's not great.
The question in the Danish study was the relationship between constipation...
Which direction?
Yeah, was an increased risk of heart attacks and strokes also true, more to the point, for healthy people, because these were hospitalised folks. So people who were already unwell.
Yeah, okay.
That was 2020. 2023, an Australian study, which was published in Nature. Nature does all the good stuff. More than 500,000 people over 60 in hospitals for a bunch of different conditions. Constipated patients among this group had a higher risk of a high blood pressure, heart attacks and strokes compared to the non-constipated patients. So there was some connection, whatever the
Again,
direction.
not a surprising thing.
No, not a surprise. Japanese study. I couldn't get the year, but it was around this time. More than 45,000 men and women in the general population. They found that people who pass a bowel motion once every 2 or 3 days had a higher risk of dying from heart disease compared with ones who had at least one bog a day. I couldn't find the data, as I said. So the more recent study, 2024 Australian one, or at least the main researchers, they found that previous studies did not factor in the effects of drugs used to treat high blood pressure, which can make you constipated.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So there's a confound. Probably worth a look.
Reverse causation sometimes.
Sometimes. Or who knows? I mean, Christ. So they took data from a UK biobank, health-related information from over 500,000 people in the UK, and they identified more than 23,000 cases of constipation. I mean, it's not a great thing. They also took into account, using their statistics, the effects of drugs that were being used to treat high blood pressure. So that was kind of factored in. They found people with constipation were twice as likely to have a heart attack, stroke or heart failure than those without. Twice as likely.
Even when you factored out the medication.
Yep, even when you factor it out. People with hypertension who were also constipated, so the people who have both, a third more likely to have a major heart event compared to people who just had hypertension.
So when are you going to make me feel good in this story?
At the end.
Okay, good. That's right.
Because I'll give you the advice. I'll tell you what to do. Right. I'll tell you how to get over this. Well, one thing you're already doing, you're under 60, so that helps.
Great.
Success. So what are the connections? One, if you're blocked up, you're probably straining too hard, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't, but that's what happens. I mean, I know you've never been constipated because you have a Buddhist diet and the poo just kind of teleports itself out of you. But for others, if you're feeling a bit blocked up, you squeeze hard. Of course you do. This can raise your blood pressure, but I didn't realise by how much. Any guesses how much?
2 blood pressure units?
More.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
So you know you got your blood pressures, your systolic over your diastolic, and your 120 over 80 is your gold standard, whatever.
Yeah.
So the top one, the systolic, apparently taking a straining dump can raise it by 70 millimetres of mercury. So your 120 over 80 turns to 190.
190?
That's a fuck ton. That's a high blood pressure. So that's not great.
So are people, are we putting the blood pressure monitor on while you're sitting on the
I've got to go to the toilet. I just need my blood pressure monitor. I assume there were controlled situations.
Kind of make me interested.
Well, you can get one in your dunny.
Sure.
You have room. Yours is a spacious commode. But apparently...
Commode.
Commodes? Are you allowed to call them that? Older folks, of course, have stiffer arteries and a higher baseline blood pressure. So for them, not only does the blood pressure go up, but it remains high sometimes for up to an hour afterwards.
Are you serious?
Young folks, it drops quite quickly. So you do your strain, you get your blood pressure high like you're working out on your ellipticals.
Surely.
It drops down.
Surely. I would have expected a nice relaxation afterwards. But
You would, but no, for older folk, it could be way up high for more than an hour. So that's an issue. Also, another, as they put it, intriguing avenue of research examines the imbalance in gut bacteria in people with constipation. Dysbiosis. So basically, if you've got that, microbes and other things can leak through the gut. It can trigger an immune response that leads to low-grade inflammation. Arteries become stiffer, increase your heart attack risk. So the microbiome, once again, everything's about basically, I'm thinking, stool transplants. That's the bottom line. And of course, they also explored genetic links between constipation and heart disease, and apparently there are some. Why? I don't know. Why the fuck is there a genetic link between constipation and heart disease? I'm starting to think there's no point in doing genetics anymore because everything's somehow linked to everything else.
Sure.
It makes me annoyed. But in the end, we know what to do.
What?
We know how to fix this. This is the good news. You ready to guess?
Eat more fiber?
Fluids.
Oh, fluids. Okay.
Exercise.
Oh, work it out with some motion.
Yeah, exactly. Work your motion with your motion. So that's what I love. All these stories end like that. Oh, look, we're not really sure, but in the end, you know what you ought to do? Eat well,
and
drink, exercise, and maybe sleep and, don't smoke.
Spend time with your friends.
Spend time with your friends. Read a good novel.
Well, I got some nice updates in medicine for you.
Excellent.
This is not human medicine, but it's obviously going to come in the very near future.
What, they've done it on the axolotls, now it's going to transfer to human populations?
Hey, not far off. Not
good.
actually on the axolotls, but, axolotls do it already. One of the things about axolotls, I think, but I know salamanders who are close to axolotls.
Same thing.
One of the things they can do is you lose your toes.
You grow a new arm.
Indeed. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Something will grow back.
Yeah, something will grow back.
Yeah.
Well known that amphibians are great at regrowing limbs, which would be...
All amphibians?
Oh, I think so. I don't know.
So you're frogs.
You're sure.
You chop off a frog's head,
Seems
it grows
like
a new body
Seems like
and
it.
a new head.
Or you go like a sea star and you chop off one and it grows a whole
population.
Yeah, it grows. It's like that's how they do it. They're basically like in the Mickey Mouse Sorcerer's Apprentice.
The brooms.
Yeah, you cut the brooms in half and they grow some more brooms.
Smash a broom, get more brooms. Yep.
But actually, this is a really interesting study, and it kind of feels a little bit landmark to me. Like it's like, whoa,
Ooh, big call.
Mammals.
Wait, is this a little bit of science breakthrough call?
No, not really. Other people have broken the news. Like listener, you come
not
to
like we do.
Like it'd be nice if we broke news. I think that'd be cool. But generally, the scientists did the work.
It's enough that we break.
We just here to have a chat.
Okay. Okay.
But mammals pretty shit at regrowing limbs. We're not good at it at all. And it's always been like, no, that would be impossible because obviously mammals just can't do that.
Yeah, they said that about nerves don't grow back, and then they found out, maybe
well, indeed,
maybe.
So some researchers at Texas and A&M University, have actually kind of done it in mice. In mice, they have coaxed a regenerative tissue response once cutting off a toe. The regrowth wasn't a perfect toe, but it says something's happening that's not just scar tissue, and it's not just some sort of
cancer,
and but it's heading in the direction of regrowing a limb. In fact, and the key thing here is growing the different tissues that are needed in a limb. Because inside a limb, obviously, you've got the bone tissues and you've got the muscles and you've got connected to, you get all the different bits.
Your blood juices, your lards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, exactly.
Your hair and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
So the key to the process was sending out two different proteins, sequentially. You got to do this, then that. You got to, as
you
the
don't just
researchers
chuck them out
say,
there willy-nilly. You've got to do them in order.
It really is a two-step process.
Interesting.
You first shift the cells away from scarring. So you send in one protein, and this protein was called FGF2. If you're looking for it in the shops,
I thought it might be.
If in the shops you're looking for some FGF2.
So that detracts from scarring. It
It stops the scarring process.
Okay.
And which is the default reaction when you get injured, which is sensible. Your body needs to cover things off. But the FGF2 will stop that to allow the bleeding will stop, but it'll allow other things to happen. Then another protein, your BMP2, again.
Didn't let me guess.
Pick them up at the shop. Oh, what were you going to guess?
BMP3.
Oh, well, you were so close, but not even anything.
That one little number makes a big difference.
And then that seems to extend the digit. Like it seems to, things start happening. And
but in a munted way.
Yeah, well, munted. It forms a blastema.
But which is not quite a cancer.
Yeah.
So a wart.
So... But what the two proteins working together are reprogramming the cells, as this is described in the paper, and it's transforming towards something else that is not scar tissue that may be programmable in a way.
Fingerish.
Look, it might be fingerish. So the bone morphogenic protein 2, which is BMP2, is applied, and that starts building these things that start to have bonishness. and skinnishness and muscleishness. So it's enough to bring, here we go, the double protein treatment was enough to bring back bones, tendons, ligaments, and joint structures.
Not bad.
So the skeletal and connective tissue elements of the missing toe.
Not bad.
And they say here, across dozens of attempts in tests on mice. Like, dozens is not a large number when you get mice studies. Like,
It's a lot of toes.
yeah, sure. You know, so all I'm saying, not ready for humans yet.
So we're not quite at the billionaire longevity people scoffing it.
And here is their conclusion. While the replacement digits were sometimes misshapen or too small, all the essential parts were there, which is just
Small, but
yeah. I
not
mean,
also.
and you know, this is
Right.
this is mouse toes, which they're pretty small.
But look, that's a bit like saying, look, it's a bag of bits. If you put them together in the right order, it's a car.
No,
But it's
no,
not a
no,
car.
no. It's like, well, it's like, let's celebrate the bag of bits that is quite close to car shape. Like
Yeah, it's finger parts
where previously
connected to each
where
other in a
previously
way.
all we've grown is a lump of car tire, like
Or nothing.
or nothing. You know,
Yeah, okay.
look, there is a
Depend-
long
are
way
you
to
buying
go.
this or are you selling it? I mean, that's the question here.
I'm buying it.
Okay.
I'm buying it. Like I just like the idea of limb. I've just had it in my head. That's it. No, it's not possible. I know. Obviously,
Of course,
there is robotic solutions and all sorts of other things that we humans can do. But
Yeah.
regrowing a limb, it just blows my mind.
I actually, A, I agree. B, I can't believe we haven't worked that out yet because
Can't believe we
we're
haven't
so
worked it
clever.
out.
Yeah, we're so clever.
It feels hard to me.
But why? We've done it. Everybody has done it at least once.
Yeah, but that's different.
Is it?
That's different.
Why?
You're inside your mum.
Oh, that could be
It's
complicated.
way more different in a womb. Like
We can totally grow back your limbs, but you're just going to have
if
to
there
pop
was a
back into your
hospital-
mother.
If there was a, or like there's a hospital ward that's a womb, you sort of slide into a womb for 9 months and you regrow.
We need to
adult size.
regestate you. Is that fine? Is that okay with you?
Would you mind? But anyway, there you go. Go medical research.
It'll get there.
Solving some problems. And of course, there could be no downsides.
None.
Well, you mentioned before, Rod, the Australian phrase cactus.
I did.
I don't know where that comes from. But
Australia.
But it does mean stuff is...
Do you know, when I was in high school, cactus wasn't enough, so it turned into cactopus.
Of course.
Yeah, we had to make it longer.
Well, coincidentally, there's a great thread on Blue Sky that I just wanted to report to you in my segment on cunning linguistics.
Thank you.
Adam Sharp on Blue Sky and others have joined in. Favourite phrases for when things go wrong. Now, it's not exactly science here, but you know, I just love this. I'm going to read a bunch of these.
No, but it's language, and science is language. It's
There we
science.
go. There we go. You will have heard some of these.
Yep.
So, from the English, of course, when things go wrong, it could be a shit show at the fuck factory.
At the fuck factory is not the... I haven't heard that strap on before.
A shit show at the fuck factory.
I like that, though.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Except the fuck factory doesn't sound all bad.
No, but if there's a shit show there,
But how do you build a fuck?
why don't you go suck a fuck?
You're at a fuck factory. We build fucks here, and then we distribute them. What do you package them in?
I think surely the fuck factory is a brothel, and it's a shit show at the brothel.
Kind of build a fuck there. You're right. Okay.
The Dutch have a phrase for when things go wrong.
Just have heard.
Well, no, they've got a couple here, but I'll give you this one. And these vary in all sorts of things. The Dutch say, "Now the turnips are cooked."
Oh, how evocative.
The Persians.
My date has been trampled on by my camel.
No. Here it is. A donkey is inside another donkey, which I like.
That just sounds hot.
we've got a donkey. We've got a donkey and donkey situation.
That is more
here.
a Mexican kind of situation.
This one's a little precise in Danish. The devil is loose in Salmon Street. I think Salmon Street is where Parliament is, or something like that.
Oh, well, they.
Here's one of the good ones. A Brazilian Portuguese saying, "A finger in the arse and screaming everywhere."
Around here we call that Friday. No, that's a finger in the arse and screaming everywhere.
Another Dutch one is teringzooi, which means a tuberculosis mess, which is great. Like, this is a full-on tuberculosis mess.
Oh, it's like when we got your chlamydia out. That's very specific and elaborate.
A French saying, "C'est parti en coulis," which means it went testicle-esque.
What's wrong with that?
Well, I
Why
don't
do
know.
the French hate nuts?
Yeah, Peruvian Spanish, a crazy naked man. I don't know how that's the
That's 9/10 of their sayings, though.
Yeah, I do like this one, a Polish one. It's a burning brothel on wheels, which Finnish have
But do they say that as a bad thing or something they're looking forward to?
Maybe.
Finally, a burning brothel
Finally,
on
we can
wheels.
turn up at the burning brothel on wheels. The Finnish have a devil in the crab trap. This one is evocative, and I don't know what it means. It's Mexican Spanish, and unmothering.
Like you've been unborn?
I don't know. You've been unmothered.
Removed from existence?
My mothering. Unmothered. I don't know. Unmothering. I am orphaned, but beyond orphaned. I'm like.
That sounds potentially quite sinister and I like that.
Another Polish phrase basically means, I'm not going to try and pronounce the original Polish. Well, Prezdziban jak Rusym Krzoglu.
Flawless.
It might be. Which means fucked up like in a Russian tank. Where can you guess this one's from? All over the place, from arseholes to breakfast.
It could be anywhere local.
Castilian Spanish has up the arse goes the bike.
The bike.
The bike.
But the Castilians are very ambitious people.
And this one, I love this one because, you know our Russian friends, they have a turn of language. But they also, is it a love of mathematics? I don't know.
Of course it is.
A literal translation
or chess.
Literal translation to shat away all our polymers.
Polymers?
I don't know.
My God, my oscilloscope is damaged. This is not a good saying.
Another Spanish one, and now grandma delivered.
Oh, that's creepy.
I want to know the origins of this one. In Swedish, we say someone's pooped in the blue cupboard.
The blue cupboard? It's where you keep your valuables normally.
Well, it must be. And finally, another Polish one. The dick has hit the baubles.
Dick has hit the baubles. I'm going to be crying that out.
Look. I think.
What do you think?
Finger in the arse and screaming everywhere is
sounds familiar.
It's a nice, but I do like a burning brothel on wheels. Like,
we're going to have to do more of those.
So that's your phrases for how things have gone wrong, and that has been your little bit of science.
I think it's quite apt for science, particularly in this country. At times, things have gone wrong.
Indeed.
Finger in the arse and everyone screaming.
It's a burning brothel on wheels.
That's how they describe some of our major science agencies.
And now grandma has delivered.
We've been unborn, unbirthed, unmothered.
If you are new to this podcast and you're like, wow, what do I do next to make people know more about it? You tell your friends, and you also give us how many stars? You
smash the star and like button as hard as you can till your fingers are bloody. You also can tell us stories or ask us questions at, what's it called? Cheers at
alittlebitofscience.com.au.
Is there a slash? No, there's no slash.
No, there's no slash.
You sure?
No, it's /Jesus.
Not /Jesus.